All right, as I'm walking to brunch with the tour group, I wanted to discuss a critical issue on why I'm here in Japan and why my hashtag for the past 2 years is why Japan seems real nice. First and foremost, racism in America is deeply rooted in European colonialism of the world. When Europe was expanding to the world, they brought all their bigotry and racism with them. Even when America was founded, we were still practicing the same racial epithets of slavery, building a country on the backs of minorities and not equal pay, not equal rights, none of that. And every time I look at Facebook, I get angry, I get depressed, I get sad, and I close it out. Or I just focus on my personal business on Facebook about dreaming of Japan, Montague travels, or talking to family and friends. Especially with the death of my father, it's like, I told my dad when I first got on Jet, if I don't have to come back from Japan, I'm not. And I was kind of sad in 2007 when I got off the plane. I'm like, fuck, all the happiness just kind of bleeded out the picture. All the not being harassed by police, all of the not being aggravated with someone yelling the N-word across a classroom. I didn't deal with any of that in Japan. I really didn't. To give you the easy version, the only times I've ever been called the N-word in Japan was by white Westerners, period. No one black called me the N-word, no one Hispanic called me the N-word, no one Japanese even used the Japanese version of the N-word in a derogatory sense. In Japan, you have foreigners for white-skinned foreigners, you have gaikokujin for dark-skinned foreigners. But all it means is you are foreign, you are not from here. That also means that you are not the enemy. They're not out hunting you down to kill you. The police aren't going to pull you over in a car or pull you off a train or a bus and beat you publicly. You're not going to have a viral video of you begging for your life in front of a cop. One of the things that I've discussed with all the major African American centric groups on social media, including I Love Being Black and Black Lives Matter, is that all of these black professionals claim to be financially stable and financially proactive, not just active in the sense of, oh, we're fighting for our own rights. It's like, no, if you really got the money and you really have the gumption, as my dad and other people in the military called it, why don't you get on the plane and come to Asia? Japan, South Korea, Hong Kong, not necessarily China. But why don't you try out these other places? Why? Because one, you get views like this. You get a whole new culture of people that are not out for your immediate exile execution. You get a beautiful culture that, yeah, it has its own issues, but it's not the key phrase of the day to shoot you and let you bleed out in the street and then the cop gets off. Only in America do I ever have to worry about my life on a daily basis. That is stressful. That is heartbreaking. I'm scared that the cop that pulls me over is gonna shoot me. I'm scared the cop that's gonna pull me over is gonna make up some bogus charges that I'm gonna have to spend every dollar I don't have fighting, so I don't have to go to prison and lose my freedoms for the rest of my life. Only in America am I concerned about having children that are going to be harassed their entire lives growing up by teachers. I'm worried if I have a son, he's going to be labeled special ed. Some stupid coach is going to tell him he has to go play football, and that's the only hope he has for the future. Only in America do I have to worry about the continuous safety of my child in the classroom from a racially biased teacher. Only in America. And that's going to be my new hashtag. Because what kills me is that people were thumping all lives mattered. And then you have white people getting killed and they're quiet. Then you had all lives matter saying that Colin Kaepernick should shut up and not talk. And then when you have the child of a retired Air Force colonel who's white get murdered, all lives matters releases a cheesy ass comment saying that, well, he shouldn't have resisted the police. The kid had his headphones in cutting grass and a cop opened fire. And apparently all of the body camera footage disappeared conveniently. Then the NRA releases a statement saying that they're divided over the Phil Calistano incident in Minnesota, when we get new evidence revealed after the case, but we've acquitted the cop who shot the boy. You shot him in cold blood 5 times and you panicked, and we're supposed to forgive you. Sorry, this is not one of those days. Fuck you. I'm not perfect. I can't pass judgment, but you can roast in hell. A man was loved by a community. He had over 300 kids. He had memorized their names and their food allergies. He was mentoring a good chunk of them, and he was making a daily contribution. He wasn't a rapper, wasn't a drug dealer, and we're going to drop all the biases. Now, it doesn't matter what his profession was. He was making a solid contribution to society. You made up a bogus lie about broken taillight, and you just shot him. Only in America do I worry about the value of my life as being black. I convinced family and friends and investors 3 years ago that I can make Japan profitable. And they're like, how can you do that? The Olympic Committee and God's plan was, well, Tokyo 2020 will be the Olympics. So I'm in Japan right now, even with the passing of my father, still pushing on my dream because my dad wouldn't let me quit anyway to make it happen. I was openly welcomed to the offices of a Japanese real estate company. They were a humble professional and they're still working with me. Even when I told them I lost my dad, they're like, do you still want to work? If you still want to work, we want to encourage you and push you to continue to follow your plan. It sounds great. So here I am, still working. Only in America would that have stopped. And what kills me about the majority of African Americans that don't want to support one another is they want to make sure that they get theirs first. And I'm like, that's the broken down plan of the Willie Lynch letter. You don't support one another. You're always worried about your income first. That's a beautiful hotel. I'm glad I got a chance to stay in it. I got to finish my Japan Times newspaper. But the point of the conversation in this rant is simple. If you truly, truly don't feel safe in your own home country, there are 198 other countries that are recognized by the United Nations in the world to live in. Japan is my favorite because it's the safest I feel safe in. I've run into cops, trained police, mall security, bodyguards, and haven't been harassed, haven't been beat up, haven't been attacked, only handled with the utmost respect and courtesy. and life is good. I do this for my students because someone lied to them saying that their entire lives has to be where they're born. Bump that. We're deleting that out of their mental vocabulary. If you're born in Puerto Rico, you want to live in San Antonio and travel to Japan, Jaleski, you can do it. If you guys want to have the military send you around the world, do it. Just know what your options are. Eggs and things. Where is eggs and things? I'm supposed to be meeting this group for breakfast and I don't even know where the restaurant is. Food quality in America is a whole lot better than Japan. It's just finding where everything's at. And even people with disabilities in Japan get a lot more respect than in America. They're a lot more stronger here because of the political organizations that support them. Yesterday I was blessed to see a young woman who was a foreigner going up the 1,000 steps under her own power and with some assistance from her friend and making it work. So the point is that only in America can fascists, and that's a strong word, so maybe not even fascist, but an organized brotherhood of police get away with openly murdering minorities and their own people and not be held accountable. So the legal system's already giving them cover. I'm just going to let God sort them out. I'm going to live my life to the best of my abilities. This is not an attack on anyone, but I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I do mine, they do theirs, and the world's a better place. If I get my way, I'm moving to Japan and I'm never coming back. That's all I really have to say about it. So with that being said, Kikano Nakano Nakama and Montague Travels checking out.